It's the Week 2 edition of Football Friday. Cody Cruciel joined by Princeton Tigers head coach Bob Surace, coming off a 49-7 season-opening victory at home Saturday against Butler. And Coach, I guess first let's start with the T-shirt. Princeton Day football, opening day this week. Opening day for my son, trying to go undefeated again, which is awesome. And you know, I can't get to the games. They video him, and last year he was 13 for 15 one game, and he didn't execute his fakes. And I sent it back to the coach. And the coach is like, he just broke the school record. So I got to ease off a little and just be a little kinder parent and not such a coach. When you do get there to watch AJ in person, are you more nervous watching him or on the sidelines on a Saturday? I am a parent. I love it. I don't say a word. I'm so much nicer to the officials, everybody else. I'm not a coach. I just get to be a parent. And that's the most joy you get on anything. And you know, both my kids, you know, I get to do that. But yeah, you know, you want to see them do well. They work really hard, and I don't get nervous with our guys. Our guys are prepared, and at the end of the day, all we can do is prepare them to the best of their ability. And you know, the last bunch of years, our staff, our players have been totally bought in, and win, lose, whatever, I've slept well knowing that they've worked hard. Let's stick with quarterbacks with good numbers. Kevin Davidson wins that starting quarterback job in preseason camp. 18 for 21, 341 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's about as well as you can play. Yeah, and his decision-making was great. And he has worked so hard. And it's hard because you're behind 2 NFL players, and Chad Kanoff and John Lovett, 2 guys who play in the National Football League. And he just kept working and developing and never worried about anything but helping the team and improving himself. And last year he proved when he got opportunity he was ready. He had a terrific spring. He had a really good camp. He's done a great job from a leadership standpoint, and it showed Saturday. Arm strength, where would you compare him to Chad Kanoff? I think we've had some really good quarterbacks, you know, starting, you know, with Quinn Epperly and Connor Michelson, and you go on and on and on. And you know, he's probably, you know, got the strongest arm. His velocity on the ball and his ability to actually put touch on the intermediate routes, and he's got an absolute bazooka. Let's talk wide receivers. That was one of the question marks, at least outside the program. Stephen Carlsen, Jesper Horsted, 44 combined touchdowns over the past few seasons. 2 of the best to ever play here, and then you roll out Andre Yosevach, Carson Bobo, couple of other guys. Those 2 guys didn't step on the field last year, and they combined for 6 catches, over 100 yards, and a couple of touchdowns. When you got here 10 years ago, could you ever imagine having this kind of depth? Yeah, well, again, they've learned from a great culture. They're behind 2 NFL players. Like that doesn't happen very often, where you're just sitting behind NFL players, and it's hard to take those guys off the field. But these guys went down on the scout team last year, and I would say it, you know, Brevin White, Andre, Carson, Michael Polk, those guys were tremendous. And that at times was the best offense we saw because of the speed that was on the field and the ability of those guys to connect against our scout team. On the defensive side of the football, the standout in the first half, didn't play much in the second half, but DeLon Stallworth, first career interception, 8 tackles. Seems like he spent the entire first half in the Butler backfield. Yeah, those guys didn't play the second half, and he's always been tremendous against the run, and he's been a really good cover guy, and I've been getting on him. He hasn't had an interception. He's played 20 games, right? It's his 21st game, getting a lot of action here, and as a junior, you know, for him to get that, you know, proverbial, you know, weight off his shoulders and get that first pick, run it back, made a great return. You know, he's feeling really confident, and I love how he plays. I love what a leader he is. He's just a tremendous asset as a player, person, leader, the whole works. In a game like that, walk me through the conversations on the sideline as far as it's the opener, you want to get your starters reps, but how do you make that call as far as when you get your starting guys out of the game? You know, you pretty much look at it when they don't have enough possessions to come back. You know, you don't want to be, and there's been games, UCLA versus Washington State was a 35-point lead, and there was enough possessions with the tempo that was being run on those 2 teams
that UCLA still had a shot and won 67-65. But once there's not enough possessions, and we did it last year. We had some great lessons on when the right time is. The one thing I wanted to do was get a 4-minute drill in with the offense. We only practiced that one time. Camp is so brief. We only had one shot at it all camp. And we I think we had a 10-minute drive with the ball on the ground other than one play. It was like 15 plays in the second half. So that was really good work for our guys.
Focus on this weekend now, 3:30 kickoff out in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. Princeton taking on Bucknell, just the second time in the last 23 or 24 years. So kind of strange, a little bit of a local rival that you haven't played that much. Bucknell 0-3, but I know you're looking at film. What stands out on the Bison?
Yeah, well, they've played a challenging schedule. They
Temple,
played Temple,
Villanova.
Yeah, and Sacred Heart's always the winner of their conference, or up there first, second place.
They won it last year.
And so they play this tremendous schedule. Their head coach, who we played early in his time at Lehigh, we didn't stop them. He is offensively one of the guys. We studied their film extensively. That's how good they were when they were at Lehigh. He brought that to Valparaiso, had success at Valparaiso, and you see that building. They got tremendous receivers, physical running backs, physical team. They'll play multiple quarterbacks at different points, not at the same time, but at different points. And you see that building there, and they're coming off a bye week, which gives them a chance to put the reset button on in terms of that. Defensively, Bucknell, from what I've known them for 35 whatever years, it is a physical team. Their front seven, just think for our fans, think Dartmouth and how they just smush you at the line of scrimmage, and the front seven and the safeties coming down and keeping everything contained with speed at the corners. But it's very reminiscent of that. They got the best punter. We've gone against him my 10 years.
He's going to be in the NFL next year.
Yeah, he's leading the nation in punting. He is a absolute weapon. But it's not just their punter. Like the foundation, especially for a new coach, is special teams. They are good across the board on special teams, and credit to them with that.
Princeton taking on Bucknell, first road game of the season. The Tigers looking to make it 12 consecutive wins. 3:30 kickoff Saturday in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. Coach, good luck. We'll see you then.
Thank you very much, Cody.